Hello everybody, this is Eddie Sprouse, and the reason for this video is I want to address the flooding and damage that has occurred in the last 24 hours in Transylvania County and Haywood County. So last night we had over the last couple of days we've had a ton of rain as a tropical storm basically stalled out over us. When I say a lot of rain, I should say it was a devastating amount of rain. And one of the things I do to keep up with current events is to scroll through on my phone and on Facebook and other sources to follow those news items to see what's happening around us. And last night I was on my cell phone and I was perusing through Facebook, and there was a post about the flooding and all that here locally in Transylvania County. And I had just turned to my wife and son who were sitting beside me and said, I wonder how things are going for the Blue Ridge Motorcycle Campground. Because I know in their history they've had some issues because the campground is across the river off of 276 in Crusoe, that their bridge is actually washed away before. So I was just curious about that. And lo and behold, the very next thing I see in my news feed is a story from the campground where they're talking about they were just devastated. Their bridge was wiped out, and basically they were closing. It sounded like they were closing forever. And that really hit me hard personally, because that's the spot where me and my wife got married just a few years ago. They were gracious enough to let us use the campground to hold our wedding, and they catered the reception dinner. It was just wonderful. And over the last several years, my sons and I and my wife and I, we've camped out over there at different times. My friends, best friends, have camped with me there just pretty recently. So we love that place. And my boys have learned to love camping and motorcycle riding, and that campground's played a big part in that in our lives. So I was pretty devastated to hear that they might be closing, and I reached out to Jay right away. I sent him a text. I'm so sorry about what's going on. Is there anything we can do? And, I'd love to help any way I can. And, of course, he thanked me for that. I was really surprised to get a text back from him. And I just asked him, I said, hey, Jay, I'd love to help in raising money and maybe getting people to donate labor and materials to rebuild. But I want to know, do you want to stay open? And he said, oh, yeah, we would love to be able to stay open. So I said, okay. So I'm going to come over in the morning, and I'm going to try to assess the damage and see what it is you need, and I can start coordinating things and getting people lined up. Well, that was last night. So, I don't watch the local news much. I don't turn on anything network related at all. Don't watch CNN or anything. So I guess you could say I have my head in the sand, and it definitely bit me this morning. So I called my father-in-law. I said, hey, you want to ride with me? I'm going to go over to the campground, check all this out. And so he said, sure. So we jump in my truck. I threw my chainsaw and some other equipment in the truck, and I headed out for the campground. And I knew I couldn't go over 276 into Crusoe because that road was blocked. So I was trying to take back ways, and I was coming in on what I guess you would call it the old highway that leads into Canton, and got turned away around there and had to go up and hit the interstate. I had to hit 40 for a little while, and then get off in Canton and try to go around by the paper mill there. And that's when reality started really sinking in for me, that this was not just a thing that had a devastating impact on this campground, but also on a lot of the people that work and live in that area, and not only Crusoe, but Canton and Clyde. And I want to talk about what I discovered and my plans going forward and what I'm still going to try to do. But I want you to understand that this area is in dire need of help. Don't jump in your truck and head out to help right away, because they're not going to let you into the flooded areas. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we saw. So as we're getting closer and closer to Canton, it was pretty evident that they'd had some massive flooding. Roads that I've never seen flood had been flooded, and there was mud on the roads and displaced structures and businesses that were basically wiped out with the floods. So we just kept pressing on, trying to get over there. On my way to the campground, passed by the old Pisgah High School and their ball fields there, and those ball fields are kind of a lower area near the river, and they were devastated. Fencing tore down, seating and bleachers tore up, and just it was bad. And it kept getting worse as we were traveling on 215. And so I called Jay, and I was really surprised when he picked up. And I told him, I said, man, we're trying to get to you, but we keep getting turned around. Different roads are closed. They're just not letting anybody in. He said, man, don't worry about coming today. I said, well, I'm going to try. He said, well, you can try, but, don't feel bad if you can't make it here. And, it's pretty clear to me he didn't want to be on the phone, and he was kind of emotional about it. I can understand. That's his livelihood. His mom and dad bought that camp, I don't know how long ago, but he's lived there. He runs the camp for them, and it's his livelihood. And he has just come through some really terrible times. And I still didn't really grasp just how bad it was until he started telling me. He said, Eddie, there's a shower house there. It's a block building in the middle of the campground, kind of up on a little bit of a higher area. And he said the water was so deep in that area that it was over top of the stall doors in the bathroom. That is really deep. What I have since found out is the river crested at over 19 feet. So clearly the deepest the water has been there in any time in recent history. They have massive flooding over there in 2004, and this flood was much, much worse than what they saw in 2004. So anyway, get off the phone with him, and I keep pressing on, and we hit Highway 110. My intent was to get on 276 and just make my way up there if I still could. But unfortunately, we made it past another roadblock. I pulled in and told the guys, look, I'm trying to make it to the campground. I've got a chainsaw in the back and some tools, and, I want to help them out if I can. And they let me pass that checkpoint. But there was another checkpoint where they asked for my address. And, of course, I don't live there. And I told him what I was doing, and he said, look, we're only letting residents in at this point in time. And I said, well, when can people get in there to help? And he said, I don't know. He said, you'll just have to keep checking back. So anyway, we got turned around. I made it home. The first thing I did when I got home was to start looking for, footage of the storm damage and any updates I could get. And one of the first things I clicked on was a press conference by our governor, who has declared a state of emergency for that area and parts of Transylvania County where I live. And that's a good thing. It's a first step in getting help to these people, and both in manpower and finances. There are over 30 people in the Crusoe area that are missing, unaccounted for. They've not checked in with their friends or family in the last, since yesterday evening. So there's an ongoing search and rescue effort there to find these people. Entire homes have washed away. If the home didn't get washed away, some of the homes had their foundation washed right out from under them. Automobiles overturned and in the water, washed away. At one point, there was a single-wide mobile home in the middle of Highway 276 near the community center in Crusoe. And a car wrapped around a telephone pole over there. People are searching frantically for their friends and family. It's pretty hard knowing that's going on with your neighbors, and there's devastation here in Transylvania County as well. Although I don't have all the information on that, I'll try to update in another video as soon as I can what's going on there. So what can you do? Well, if you want to donate water, they do have water donation stations set up to get water into these areas where people have fresh drinking water, because there is no fresh drinking water in Crusoe, Canton, or Clyde. The emergency management team for Haywood County has told people they need to boil their water, not to drink it straight out of the tap or whatnot. So they don't have fresh water. I'm sure as soon as the search and rescue is over with, that they'll be letting people go in and try to help people rebuild. So as soon as I have an update on that, I'll try to let you know somehow, either on my Facebook page or through YouTube or under the comments on this video or whatnot. But clearly there's more than just a campground at stake. I don't know how I could have been so naive to think they were the only ones affected. And it's just devastating. It's heartbreaking to see what's going on in that area. Let me show you some pictures. So this is from WLOS Channel 13 in Asheville. This is some photos they've uploaded to their website. That was last night. This was the river after the water had started receding. And this is a police vehicle trying to get to people to save folks. Of course, they're having to use boats and stuff. This is a wall over there that has collapsed on the highway. We saw several trees that were down that had to be cut away. And these photos don't do the devastation justice. If you don't see it with your own eyes, you just don't understand. This is a group of school kids that were let out of school by the school bus, and they couldn't make it across the river. So the fire department was having to ferry them using their ladder truck and a bucket to get them back on the other side to their homes. Again, a mudslide here. Pardon me. This is Accurate Auto Repair off of 110 over in Canton, and I actually saw this with my own eyes. This is not my photo, but you can see this is the same business here, and it's just devastated. And complete sections of roads have been washed away. This is going to take a long time to repair, to get this area back open. But it's just simply devastating. So you get some idea of the issues that are going on over there. So going forward, I'm going to keep an eye on what's happening with the rescue effort, what's happening with, fundraisers. I'm sure there's going to be more than one. I am going to be trying to do a fundraiser I'm going to do a fundraiser for the motorcycle campground. I'd love to be able to see them reopen. And if you want to be a part of that, let me know. It doesn't have to be a financial contribution. It can be labor. And I've already got one gentleman that my best friend actually said he would take a couple days off work to go up and help them. And I've called a bank and talked to a vice president of one of the local banks about funding to help get them up and running a little sooner. And so we're working on those details, trying to get information to the bank so they can see if there's a way to lend money. But hopefully with the emergency declaration for this area, federal and state money will start flowing in to help these families and restore businesses and give these people a place to live and get fresh drinking water restored. But I'll update on all that's what I can find out what's going on, and hopefully we can all band together and make a difference for this community. And also I'll do what I can to find out what's going on in Transylvania County and what you can do to help here locally. God bless you. Thank you for watching the video. Please share this with your friends and family. Bye.